All right, like the title says, the Great Reset, guns, gold, silver, and ammo. All right. My channel is basically a channel revolves around, it's a gun channel, gun collecting, and it's something I've done. And probably when we talk about finances, it's probably the main investment that I have, and with all the recent events, a lot of my subscribers, I used to have a lot of political statements and discussions, but YouTube in the past few years, if you say the wrong thing or discuss the wrong topic in the wrong light, they've threatened to shut my channel down a few times, so I have to be careful on what I say. I've recently retired, and so I'm in the mode of assessing where I am financially with my investments and everything else, and things like that. So in my efforts of going through this, I was just going through my things and organizing stuff. And I've collected, like I said, I've collected guns, I collected coins, stamps. A lot of guys out there that are into military, I used to collect medals, badges, helmets, uniforms, military things. And at one time, I did hold on to precious metals, be it silver, mainly silver, and some gold, and invested in things like that. Now the thing is, I've been investing since the 80s, the early 80s, all the way up until now. And going around on YouTube, I ran into some videos because I still have a few, not a lot, but I still kept some of my silver and some gold just in a box. It's a very, very small amount. I had a lot more, and I will go into details describing my experience with that throughout the 80s and 90s and such. But to where it got to a point where I kind of got away from the metals, and I'll tell you why, just because it's kind of inconvenient or whatever, but I'll explain it in detail. But, and I also said you can compare what goes on now with firearms and the way things are. Certain firearms and ammunition is just as volatile as precious metals. There's an instability, with the value of what you have, be it a silver coin or be it a rifle or a handgun. The values go up. And if you collect older guns, there's a huge discrepancy in what goes on or what people are asking for it or what the real value is. So when you look at it and say, okay, I have an accumulation or a collection of anything, what's it worth? Where am I at? Have I gained or have I lost? And I'm going to make a series of videos talking about that. And one of the reasons why is I usually do them with the firearms related stuff, and I will keep doing them. But I've noticed also there's a lot of, especially being older, I've heard stories of a lot of people with different investment scams, be it stocks or be it precious metals and things you see advertised on TV. A lot of people are being ripped off. A lot of people are overpaying. And when it comes to the coins and stuff, there's a lot of fakes out there. And I mean a lot of them. And I kind of really didn't realize it because years ago, when I was involved in metals and that, the biggest fakery was faking an error or faking, they used to have a way of sweating on a mint mark onto a silver coin, which would be worth more than, the coin itself. That was about the only type of forgeries and fakes you'd run across, But now I've been out there, And I've seen on Facebook people advertising stuff that is 100% fake. It is a replica of a US Mint coin, so I don't know how they're allowed to do this. And it's very prevalent. And the reason is I believe for the past 30 years, there has been a concerted effort to create a world government, collapse the economy, and basically get one global power under control of everyone. And I believe all of this is tied into this, and I will explain my thoughts on that in detail. I will also warn you about some of the scams out there. And, you know, going back like we had with the gun thing, this ammo hike it's a scam. It's just, they're just ripping us off. Okay? So let me show you visually what I have here. I have an assortment of things here up on the pool table, and I'll discuss the different things, and I'm going to make a whole bunch of different videos discussing in detail each and every little facet of this, and basically warning you what to avoid and kind of discussing what you should do to, or what we all should do to protect ourselves for what looks like very, very bad times here coming up. And I mean soon. Okay, what I have here is a collection of different things, just examples of what I've collected and invested in over the years. And I've made money and I've lost money. AR-15 rifles, the bane of gun control. These things trade like gold. Right now you can get a generic plain one for under $400, but if they threaten to ban, and with no laws in place, I've seen these increase from $400 to $700 to $1,300, and a lot of people will buy these up with the thought, the assumption, a law will be passed, they'll be banned, and they'll be worth thousands of dollars. Okay? Never happens. I've known a lot of people who lost a ton of money during these panic buys on guns like this. The reason I have the magazine out is there was another rush where people were buying magazines. They come in a case of 100, okay, and people were buying them for like $7 a piece and trying to sell them for $40, $50. And I've actually talked to people who would tell me, it's like, hey, I got so many ounces of silver. Well, I have so many AR-15 magazines, like I have 60 of them or something. They actually were speculating and investing in magazines, which that went to hell. Their common price for a decent one is $10 or $12 for a quality one. Okay, but people try to invest in that. They speculate, think it's going to be outlawed, buy hundreds of them, hoard them, and then they lose. Another thing I did, stamps. I'm going to mention this one. Stamps, and I think sports cards are right behind it. Stamp collecting was always a fairly good investment years and years ago, 40, 50 years ago. A lot of wealthy people had pretty nice stamp collections. Since the late 1980s till now, the value of stamps, you know, even the rare ones, the price or the value of them, even if you had rare ones are worth a few $100s. A guy did a study since the late 80s, stamps have lost 80% of their value just because people really don't collect them or see them as a good investment anymore. So that was probably the biggest loser. I had nice albums, and I really didn't have a lot of rare stamps. I think the most I ever paid for one was $400, you know, which is probably worth $50 now. So stamps, big loser. You know, I ain't even going to get into 401ks in the stock market. Now when we get back into the metals, okay, and, you know, there's different ways to invest. We got a couple of these, you know, coins, bullion coins, that were minted by a government. So, you know, these are like a higher end bullion. They're collectible, they have a year on them, and that, but they're just basically bullion coins, which are more expensive and cost more than like these rounds and just bars that are odd things here and there. You know, this is just an ounce of silver, okay? So the difference is this has a higher premium but retains a higher value. This is just silver, more or less in its raw form, and, you know, kind of here nor there. There's a debate about that, and we'll go into that later. But also you have this proof coin, which is basically more of a numismatic value. It was more expensive to begin with than the silver eagles that came out, you know, like this one here, just come out of a tube. This one has a box, papers, and that, where, say, this coin, to get a new one, is like $35. To buy a new one of these, it's like $100. So there you have a difference. This is more of an investment in coin collecting, other than bullion or silver stacking like these. And this is kind of just basic stacking here. Okay. And silver is what I mainly stayed with because it's affordable. I did fool around with a little bit of gold, but never an awful lot of it. I actually have 2 platinum coins here I bought just to say I had platinum coins. And that's kind of the remainder of my gold. I used to buy half ounces and tenths. I had a whole bunch of 10th ounce coins at one time. Ended up giving them away as gifts. Like I gave one to my parents for their 50th wedding anniversary and all that other stuff. Never really got into gold deep because it's always expensive. And when I was younger, there was always bills. Either you had to get your car repaired or buying houses. It couldn't really tie up a lot of money in gold. I never really had the money just to put away with gold, platinum, or something. And, you know, the new things like these gold backs. Now, I know if you're a stacker and if you're looking at the cost of the product and the end result of selling the product, okay, which any of this is a commodity, okay, and it has a set value, and there are premiums attached to getting these in these forms. This is something totally different. I'll go more into it, and I kind of like these a lot. I know a lot of the stackers think that this is insane, the gold backs, but more on that later. Then we have something called the constitutional silver. I've never heard it called that. And these are just some old coins that I accumulated. I threw them all into a box over the years. And this is just a lifetime. You know, I'd find them in the couch or find them in change or, you know, somewhere, bought them at a flea market. They were in a box and that. And now I was watching a video where a young man was discussing this. People used to use these coins for fractional silver because they are 90% silver or something, and they would have a value. And even though they're called junk coins or whatever, they're usually in bad shape. Like this one here doesn't have a date, but this coal is still worth something. There's still silver in it. Okay, people will trade this as fractional. But when I talked about the counterfeiting, is you can go and find, I didn't believe that they actually counterfeited mercury dimes. The half dollars I can see in dollars, you know, because of the size and the amount of silver, but they actually go to the point of counterfeiting dimes. And I think this, like I said, when I believe this is done because people were using older money as another way of trading or paying for things that goes outside where the government can't control it. Okay, and that's why I believe they're allowing these foreign countries just to make all these fakes to confuse and to also make it to where people will not have faith in the value of this anymore. See, that's what I'm getting at. That's what I think I'm seeing. And we'll discuss that also in more detail, because it's all tied in. It's all tied in to disarming the public. They're going to control your money. They're going to use technology to more or less enslave you. You're going to have no choice. You will be forced to live a certain way and do things a certain way here in the future. At least that's the plan that I see. And I just picked this up in the mail. This is my ping tester. We're going to use this because I have acquired some fake coins, and we're going to see how the different techniques and methods how to test coins. Because like now, if I find somebody comes up to me, or you find anybody with these coins, are they real, are they fake now? I know these are real. I've had them for over 20 years. So I got a group of coins I know are real, and I'm going to see if I can get skilled enough to spot a fake from a real coin. Because several of these fellas out there on YouTube have gotten caught up in this where, they got burned. And they admitted it, and they try to demonstrate how to tell the difference. So we're going to work on that also. So that's my little rant, rave, political thing for today. And I know some of you folks out there are not into the guns or the political stuff, but are more or less into the stacking and that. And I'm glad for your input, and I'm glad for your comments. So please subscribe and stay tuned. I will try to put some content out there that I think you would like. All right? Thanks.